back to Bulls Countdown Live, where we are pleased to be joined by, we can say this now, Hall of Famer Billy Donovan. Billy, congratulations. You've had a court named after you in Florida. You've won back-to-back national championships. You've had your jersey retired for your playing career in Providence. You've experienced success at the NBA level, but this, the ultimate honor, has to have you in a reflective mood.
Yeah, Casey, it was very, very overwhelming. I think with our season going on and then finding out about it, I found out about it in Oklahoma City. And then we were in a back-to-back and then had a day and then obviously traveled to San Antonio yesterday for the Final Four. So there's been a lot to process. I'm incredibly humbled and grateful to even be, recognized and considered for something like this. And, I've said this before, I think, as I look back, over my journey in basketball, you really take a look at a lot of things that I just didn't have control over. I didn't have control over Coach Pitino coming into Providence my junior year. I didn't have control over the athletic director at Florida calling me and offering me a job. What I tried to do is focus on the things I do have control of. And, I really love the game of basketball. I always have. And I'm just, incredibly honored and grateful and humbled by all of this.
You've talked so many times about how special those 06, 07 back-to-back title teams were. Obviously, Joakim Noah, a prominent member of those, dear to Bulls family. What made those teams so special for you?
I think the level of sacrifice and commitment to each other and to winning. When you get a chance to be around good teams, you really know what it looks like. And those guys all had the opportunity to leave and go to the NBA after they won the first national championship. I think one of the things that probably impacted all of them is Torian Green's father, Sidney Green, played in the NBA, played here in Chicago. Obviously Joakim Noah's father, professional tennis player. Al Horford's father played in the NBA. I think they knew what professional basketball and sports was like. And I think that there was just this incredible bond that they had to each other and commitment that they had to each other. And they ultimately sacrificed for each other. And I think that's really ultimately, besides their individual talent, made them a great team.
I know your wife and daughter were in San Antonio with you and the #1 Florida Gators fan of all time, your father, and then obviously Jerry Reinsdorf released a very nice statement. So your Bulls family was with you in spirit. What's that been like, sharing it with so many people that care about you?
It's been great. The one thing that happens is it's such a whirlwind while you're there. You see people for a couple minutes and you don't get really a chance to spend a whole lot of time with them. I miss Coach Pitino. He was there. He was receiving the Naismith Coach of the Year award. I missed him. But, it was great to have my dad there. It was great to have my wife and my daughter there. Certainly the ceremony will be in September, where there'll be a lot more family there. But it was a lot to take in yesterday and all very positive, but it was very, very emotional and moving the last 24 hours just being in San Antonio and seeing so many different people.
Do you want to break any news? You want to know maybe who your presenter? You want to reveal who your presenter might be? I'm thinking maybe Coach Pitino.
Yeah, I haven't had really a whole lot of time. It's amazing when you get there, because I missed, there was an event on Friday. We played Friday. So when I got there on Saturday morning, they sit down with you. There's a whole process that you have to go through. So there's a lot of things I've got to get caught up to speed on. I think I've been pretty open and adamant about, Coach Pitino and his impact on my life and playing and even coaching. So, there's just, you got to write a speech. There's so much you have to do that I got to get prepared for. But so at some time, I think I'll have time to reflect back and think about all this stuff.
Last one. I've been fortunate to cover a few of these Hall of Fame ceremonies. They're spectacularly done, and there's certainly an energy to the class that goes in. So what's it going to be like for you to go in with people like Sue Bird, Carmelo Anthony, local Chicagoan Danny Crawford from the officiating ranks, and then obviously the 2008 Redeem team, among others. But what's that experience going to be like for you?
Yeah, it was great spending time with Coach Krzyzewski there. Danny Crawford and I got a chance to spend a lot of time together yesterday, so it was great being with him. I coached Carmelo at Oklahoma City for a year. Believe it or not, Dwight Howard I recruited out of high school. So it's just amazing the careers that all of them have had, and then I think you look at Dr. J, being on the board of the Hall of Fame and, him being an inductee more than 30 years ago. And now you're going into the Hall of Fame with so many incredible coaches and players and contributors to the game. So respect Maya Moore and Sue Bird's career. Again, I think, Casey, it's a lot to take in, and I'm incredibly humbled and I'm grateful, and it is really overwhelming in a lot of ways.
Well, we really appreciate your time today, especially on a game day. Good luck in Charlotte, and congratulations again, Billy.
Thank you, Casey.